Mm, how much I love you. Baby, don't take my sunshine away. In Jesus' name. We are live. Make sure it's up loud enough. Live. So today, as we begin class. Welcome, class. Welcome, class. Welcome back, class. Welcome back. How you doing today? We will be going in more and more into chapter 1, verse. Today we are on verse 4. So this is day 4 of Ephesians chapter. Hey! uh, that's nobody. That's just Josh. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Thank you for that like. And thank you for that love. Thank you for that love. So, today we will be going over Ephesians chapter 2, verse 4. Today is day 4 of Ephesians. We traveling through it. Thank you for that like. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Salute to you, soldier. We are heavy duty coming into this day like soldiers, okay? We coming in like soldiers. We coming in hot, okay? We coming in hot. I'm for real, all right? We coming in hot to these troublesome days in which the day brings. So, I want to start off by saying welcome back, class, to the Freedom from the Night. Today we're going on to another informational piece in the life of the Bible verses. And you can always catch this information in my many playlists going over each part in the Bible. So even if I move on to another book, Bible and verse, um, you it will always be put under a playlist where you will find what you need. Okay? But I am diving into these powerful messages these verses bring into our everyday life. All right? So, welcome, mixed class. Welcome. Hi, salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. How you doing today? We going on into another day, another hour, another part of the year. Okay? But we going into this day like never before. The title today is But God. Okay? That's the title for today. The title for today is But God. You understand what I'm saying? So I like to start off with several notes. The note of the day. The note of the day. But guess what? I don't have a note of today. What I do have is some visions that I had while I was gone. Okay? I do have some visions that I had, which will take the place of the note of the day that you really get in to yourself. Okay? So, first and foremost, let me talk about the birds. Okay? The birds in which when I was at the park, I saw these birds. and I seen a little blue jay. That's our new model for STL. Okay, that's our new thing for STL, the blue jay. Okay, it was the red bird, but now they done switched us up to the blue jay for STL. Okay, so we blue jay now. Okay, means nothing, but I'm just saying. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you, soldier, for that third light. Salute to you, soldier. You made it here yet another day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for appearing before the devil who tried to take your life but didn't, because you here today. Hello? Hello. I just said something. Thank you. So, the birds. Let me get back to the story of the birds, okay? The birds. We're not talking about the movie The Birds. We're talking about real life The Birds, okay? The birds in which this happened to me. I saw this blue jay. This blue jay was just going around all nice, He wasn't bothering nobody. He was just polite. Polite little blue jay. Little bitty thing, though. Little bitty thing. Just flying around from the tree. So I got to speaking to the little blue jay. I said, "What's up, little blue jay? How you doing this morning?" I sure did. I said, "What's up, blue jay? How you doing this morning?" And he just was flying. And he stayed right there in the tree. But then all of a sudden, here come this other little bird. Swoop down just like that, causing little blue jay to leave off the scene immediately. So I ain't even see little blue jay no more. So I'm seeing this other bird. And I'm like, I look at this little bird. I'm like, little bird, what do you want? That's what I said to that bird. I said, little bird, what do you want? Salute to you, soldier. Thank you for that fourth light. Salute to you, soldier. You made it here yet another day. Welcome. Stumped on the head of the devil by the grace of God. Thank you. Salute to you, soldier. But then the little other bird comes and blue jay gone. And here he is. And I'm like, what do you want, bird? What do you want? And the bird is like, he little noisy little bike riders. Anyway, so the bird looking at me, just looking around, trying to act like he ignoring me, right? So then I go into a vision, and I see a warlock spirit on this bird as I'm looking at the bird. And I said, you know what? I see you, and you here on a mission, bird. You here on a mission for somebody. But whoever it is got you spying on me. I see you. I see you, bird. Many people would be afraid to speak to the birds, to speak to these things that's in this atmosphere that's trying to play on our sight. Not me. I don't care how crazy I look. I don't care. I ain't afraid. Cause I know by the giftings that I have, it gets weird. I know my gifting gets weird. So I know what's going on. I wish my moderator was here so she can get some of these people off of my private line. You sure right. You would be crazy speaking to the birds with my crazy self. Crazy for the Lord, because that's what I did. And then once I spoke, because guess what? We have power in the tongue. You gotta speak. What you think that Bible in verse says, that's what I teach on. Because we finna believe in these verses today. Okay? We believing in them. We not finna play with people. Y'all don't see stuff because you're afraid to speak. The Lord tells us as children of God to speak. That way you'll know what it is that is before you. It's a way to speak. He'll give you the tongues to say what you need to say, but eventually you'll know. So my crazy self got to speaking to this bird that just came and looking around trying to make it seem like he ain't looking at me. But I look on at the bird and I say, "What do you want, bird?" And this bird got a spirit on him that's watching me. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, soldier. How you doing this morning? Salute to you, soldier. Yeah. So, as we know, that was some mess right there. That was a journey. What I saw a warlock spirit operating through that bird right there. Not the blue jay. Blue jay, mind his business, happy, ain't being used by nothing. But that bird right there, being used. He wasn't just there for nothing. So I spoke. And when I spoke, it moved everything out of my way. And I saw a warlock spirit through that bird looking at me. Spying on me. Spying on me. But do you think I cared? Nope. Because that same warlock spirit, every time, keep on spying. It's be the same warlock spirit. He keep coming. He keep trying to come through different spaces and different things. Through different things. But that spirit is a spirit over the region. That's a spirit that's over the region. Because every time I come to a certain spot, that same spirit is over the region. Okay? And then I get to praying, and this same spirit tried to put fear in me one night. One night when I was praying, it tried to enter in to where I was at in my car. And then I sat there and I was like, by this tree. And I looked over at this tree and I said, "Tree." I got to looking at the tree. I'm like, look at this tree. This tree is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird looking. I got to speaking at the tree by saying this tree, it looks kind of weird looking. And then, why did I see this tree? It was black. The tree was black. Everything around it was white. The tree was black. Nothing. That means that tree was in pure darkness. Nothing. No life whatsoever to that tree. And then I got to thinking about how many other trees are round about us that got no life in it. And that's the reason why they all fall down at times that they do fall down. So I know. And it got me to thinking about how many other of these trees are being used by witches and warlocks as a cover up. Sounds crazy, but I'm activating somebody out there. Somebody know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, somebody out there know what I'm talking about. Because I ain't the only one that deals with this gift. And no, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty well off with this gift. I'm good on this. This gift is good. I'm accepting it. Because the last time I say I ain't want it, I went out. I ain't saying that again. So I'm good. I believe what I'm seeing. I believe what I'm seeing. Or what I'm saying. What I should say is, I believe what I'm noticing. I can't take that away. Okay. Ooh, my nose running. Anyway, but that tree made me think about how many spirits there is lying dormant in these trees, and that's the reason why these trees keep falling down. Like there's no life in these trees. How many? How many, sir, ma'am? How many? And yet people keep talking about the tree got life. Not all of them. Not all of them. Because where the nuts at? Where the nuts at? I don't never see no nuts falling from none of these trees. None of them. Never. So I'll be like, ain't no nuts. The little squirrel, he got something big in his mouth. I'm looking at everything. I'm like, the squirrel's carrying something big in his mouth. I'm like, squirrel, you supposed to be having a nut in your mouth. So then he goes over, scraping, trying to scrape in the ground. Cause he in his natural habitat. He trying to scrape. I'm like, squirrel, you looking for a nut in there? Squirrel, are you looking for a nut in there? Did you bury a nut? Cause I don't know. I don't think it's in this here park. I don't think it's here. It's not here. So you basically doing what's normal for you, but there's no nuts for you to even get down in there and see if there's anything in there. So he eventually moved on because there's no nut in the ground. Because these trees ain't got no life. None. Trees are being occupied by witches and warlocks. Witches and warlocks that's taking things out on regions in different areas, different regions, spying out on you. Sounds weird, but I know what I'm saying. Because I'm seeing this, and this is what I know, because I'm looking at it. And this is what I'm telling you. Because I've seen it. Point blank, from this point to that point to that point. I seen it. Like this. Done like this in this order. That's why STL had that very same situation to happen to it, with all these trees falling over. They don't got no life in them. There's no life in them. None. No life in these trees. In the STL. So that's why a lot of things, the leaf just fell off the tree because he mad. Ain't no leaf fell off the tree all day. All of a sudden the leaf just fell out the tree. You know? Funny. Welcome, Uganda. Welcome to the Spirit of God in Jesus' name. Welcome, Uganda. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Welcome to you. But yeah, It's a lot of strange things happening right before our very own eyes. Me and somebody was just talking about how people are changing themselves right before us, right in front of our face, just changing themselves. And yet, and yet, and yet, we ain't peeping it out. Well, me and this person peeped it out yesterday, and we realized how there are people that are transgendering themselves right before our very own eyes, and we thinking that this is the same person when they are not. They are not. Yeah, it's getting weird to me. It's getting weird. Getting very weird out here. Very. And that's some stuff we got to watch out for, okay? That's why today's title is called But God, okay? But God. We finna get off it too. Which also brings me to, how with all those spirits and all those different things, I seen an army rising up. I seen an army in the midst of all this stuff I was looking at. I seen an army to my left of my vision, and they was in a row, side by side, looking on at everything else that I could not see. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I seen that, but they seen everything else that I could not see. So I seen soldiers. That's what the Lord said they were. They were soldiers for Christ. And they was anteing up in the spirit realm for whatever it is that's trying to come and attack the children of the Most High God. They there for you. Those soldiers in the spirit are starting to ante up for the children of the Most High God. They coming. They there. They wasn't there before. What I noticed is that those soldiers were there, and they becoming more and more, because one of them, I'm gonna tell you this. One of them was that man. What's his name? Charlie Kirk. He was right there, a part of the soldiers in the spirit realm. Yeah, I never knew this man before until everybody started talking about it in my comments. And then I told you what the Lord said. But I'm seeing this man in the spirit lined up as a soldier for the Lord's army with other soldiers. There were other soldiers taking their rightful place in the army of the Lord. And it's a lot of them. A lot of them. It was so many of them. You wouldn't even believe it. And Charlie Kirk was the first person I saw. Right along with some other ones too. It's some other ones too. They was taking their place in the spirit realm, which means that some of these people are still alive today on the earth. These soldiers still alive, taking their place with Charlie Kirk in the spirit, because they keeping his name alive. And the way that they keeping his name alive is because obviously this man did something in a way that I don't even know, because I don't know this man. I never heard of this man until people was talking about him. And then this is what I got. This man is a leading soldier of other soldiers, and other soldiers taking their place beside this man. And which means that these soldiers are still alive. And they looking out for the children of the Most High God in the spirit. Which also means that it's time for us to start taking our rightful position as children of God. As soldiers of God. Sorry about that. Lord Jesus. Anyway, we got to start taking our rightful position as children of God. Yes, we do. And I seen that. So then, before I seen that, let me tell you what I seen before I seen those soldiers lined up like that in the spirit. I seen this lion. I kept seeing that in my vision. This lion, it was a male lion. It had his little hair and stuff. That's a male lion. It was walking, looking around, scoping the scenery. That's what I seen before I seen those soldiers. He was scoping the scenery, trying to see if there's anybody in the midst trying to stir up strife against the children of God. Nobody moved. Nobody moved. Then another vision came of him doing the same thing, scoping in another area, though. This is another area, trying to see if somebody was actually trying to mess with the children of God still. So I seen that. I seen it's the same lion. The same lion. Just like I seen the same lion other times when I did my video. I seen that same lion other times when I did my video. And all of you all prayed that prayer with me, which is Psalms 20. The prayer I told you is a very powerful prayer to pray. So I know you prayed that prayer with me out there. That prayer is powerful. And the Lord will devour. The Lord will take those who are trying to prey on of the children of God. By saying this prayer, He gonna take you up out of here. You gonna have to get moved, or you gonna get devoured. It's a dangerous thing to pray a prayer and you ain't meaning it. You gotta really mean this. These prayers mean something. These prayers mean something. Let me get this sun out of my face. These prayers mean something to all of us. These prayers mean something to all of us. They do. Especially that one prayer that I love to pray, because that brings them in. Okay? Them soldiers, and it brings in that Lion of Judah to come in. Take you out. Stop playing. Stop playing on my life. I'm telling you. From the name of Jacob, stop playing. So, those are the visions that I had that that came about the one time. It came about the one time when I was also doing my video, and a lot of people were coming up against me, and that's what's been happening since I've been doing these videos. It's a lot of witches and a lot of warlocks. Witches are women who deal in gods and goddesses, because witches think they goddesses, and warlocks think they God. Okay? So a lot of times these people, these witches and warlocks, they think they know more than God. They think they know more than God, but they don't. They don't know more than God. But they coming up against the children of God, but don't understand that Now you finna have a problem. You finna have a problem. It's soldiers out here. We are soldiers out here. It's real soldiers out here. To where you think you doing something, but you really ain't doing nothing. You really ain't doing nothing. Because when it's all said and done, oh, you gonna get yours. You gonna get yours. And y'all thought y'all killed that man. And here it is. He taking his rightful position in the spirit. Because it's in the spirit and truth that y'all finna get it. All y'all doing, y'all gotta, hey, psst, let me tell you something. Hey, let me tell you something. The more people you kill in the flesh, that's God's children, the more you ain't gonna win in the physical. Because what's in the spiritual is only gonna get in depth in the physical as you trying to kill the children of the Most High God. That's all you doing. You basically putting a war out on yourself. And all that means is, if you keep doing what you doing and you thinking that you own to something, that only means that more soldiers gonna rise up and put a killing to you gods and goddesses, which is nothing but witches and you warlocks. Y'all know y'all are the spirit of lies. Shut up, stomach. Stomach want to talk too. You already know you the spirit of lies. And yet you think you getting away. Because, yeah, I seen this too. I seen y'all messing with one of the children of God and trying to get ready to kill her. It's a lady that's here on the YouTube that some witches is trying to kill her. Just like they did try to do me. Long time ago. I did leave the earth. But when I called on Jesus' name 3 times, I came back. That was a close call. So I know how that looks in the spirit now. Those witches, this is a witches type of thing that's trying to put a killing on this woman who's here on this YouTube channel. Witches trying to mess with her. Leave her alone. Witches. And I got to praying for her and praying and praying and praying. Because they straight trying to find a time where this lady is going to try to put a killing to her own self. It's going to be like she putting a killing to her own self. But it's because these witches done killed this woman in the spirit. Hey, let me tell you witches and warlocks something. When it comes to God, we not afraid of you. You might got the power to do what you do, but my God's power is greater. My God's spirit is greater. You can't do nothing that God can't undo. And that's in sickness, disease, and death. You can't. You cannot. Now stop it. Stop messing with the children of the Most High God. For real. I'm really getting to a point where I'm just getting fed up. It's done. it's a wrap with you. I don't even care what nobody say or more. Because all this different stuff I'm seeing that these witches is doing. Ooh, y'all finna get it. That's my note of the day. Now let's get on into this Bible study time, okay? I always do an hour. But like I said on my channel, I will do up to 2 hours if I have to. But I like to do an hour. So, anyway, let's get on into this other portion, this other half of the session that we need to get off into. Okay? And that you need. You need that. You need that portion. For some of y'all. Because some of y'all act like you afraid to talk about this stuff. Some of y'all act, oh, I forgot to say that with my video that day I did. Or should I say that night that I did my video, that did get into a man of God and built up his confidence. And so he started to teach in the spirit. And it brought a whole bunch of children forward and listening to him. Because when I spoke, he was in more confidence, and he was speaking more and doing things he's supposed to do unto God. And then it was bringing forth children of God towards him to listen to him. Because why? Because of that confidence that he had built up. Not arrogance, confidence in Christ that he built up on the inside of him. And now he can speak with it in Jesus' name. But that's the other note of the day. Confidence builds. Okay? Not arrogance. Confidence. All right? So, the segments that I'm getting in, that's what I'm going to call them, segments. The segments that I've been getting in, is I think it's 9 or 10 of them. About 10 of them. It's 10 of these. So I do one verse a day, going down Ephesians. We in chapter 2. I did verse 1, 2, 3. Now I'm on verse 4. We on verse 4, Bible study time today. But you'll find all these things under my playlist that says God's great love for us. This portion here in which I'm talking about right now will be under my playlist that it says God's great love for us. So you can always go back and listen to it again for activating you. Okay? Because there shouldn't be no fear in the body of God. None. No fear. We should be able to talk about the crazy things that sound crazy to other people. But we know we need to say it. It should be still spoken. Point blank, period. Okay? Gotta move on. So, my playlist will say God's great love for us. That's my playlist. Okay? That'll be my playlist right there. God's great love for us. Now let me move on. Let me move on. And we're going to sum up Ephesians. We doing summary first before we do, we doing summarizing what we already read before we do remembrance of the verse I'm going to get into for today. So we summarizing Ephesians, and we are on chapter 2, verse 4. 2 verse 4. And what else I need to write down? I think that's it. And we're going over summarizing this, okay? We're summarizing chapter 2, verse 4. I don't know if I spelled that right or not, but hey, we doing this for summarizing. All right, we summarizing. It's that time at that point where we summarizing stuff, okay? All right. So what we will do, we summon this up. So we always do it by steps because that's what you do. You taking steps. So we doing this by steps so that you'll know. There was one thing I wanted to say to you, class, and how remember when I spoke many days ago, matter of fact, months ago, about the words that God used, like be, the, it, and, but, uh, and all of, and what they represent. Well, those things in which I'm doing right now, I'm putting together what it is that I'm actually trying to tell you, that like if I say to the Lord, from the Lord, that starts the step in which will take you to a point where you ask these questions in your head, and that can help you get your questions answered. If you keep going from one point to the next point, class, I'm telling you, I have a video about that, which I was talking about, phoneme. That's a thing. Phoneme, that's a thing. That's an English language thing. And all that. I started talking about all that back in the thing, back in that time. I said all of that. But but this is but this is the segment where we summarize it. So how we summarize it, we going to use some of those words: of, but, in, the, and. We're going to use those words attached to what we need to summarize this stuff up with. That video I did a while ago means something to this portion that I'm trying to get in as of today. So we was in verse 6, right? Verse 6. So we're going to put we're going to put verse 6 as we summarize it. I'm sorry. Let me put verse 6 before I do chapter 2:4. So we're going to put verse VS 6. This is from chapter 1. And this is how you should be putting it on your paper. Ephesians VS dot 6, summarizing. This is that point of summarizing up chapter 1 before we get into the verse of the day. That verse that we doing today, right? Not the verse of the day, but the verse that we doing today, which is verse 4, chapter 2. But right now we're going over the things that we already did for summarizing. So verse 6, you should put Ephesians VS 6 summarizing. Make it simple, class. Make it simple for you. So under there, we're going to put steps, and we're going to include the words that we need to summarize this on up. Number 6, you should be putting to the praise. I'm gonna tell it to you like this. Write it down. To the praise. And this is what number 6 says. Let me tell you what number 6 says in verse 1. Number 6 says, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he has made us accepted in the beloved. So we're going to use all those words as steps into answering the questions inside our heads that we need answered. So if you go to Ephesians chapter 1 verse 6 and just read the whole thing, and then I'm finna summarize that up. All those words that we're about to sum up. And I'm just going to do that verse for today. And then I'm going to jump on in to the verse of the day, the verse that we're doing today, for memorization of that verse, okay? Don't forget the title overall is called but God. Okay? So, to the praise, you're going to write to the praise of his glory, of his grace, to the praise of his glory, of his grace, he has made us accepted and then underneath there you're going to put in the beloved. So we're going to do something different today. I'm going to write it all out for you because you want to make these steps be to where you understand it. Those are the steps. You want to, that's what that verse says, okay? All right? All right? So, but you can put wherein right here where it says he. So you should be having this in steps of step. These are steps. I'm gonna say these are steps. These considered steps to me, okay? Because you can walk down these things. These little bars are considered steps to me. So these are the steps in which highlighted here of what we're going over right now in this verse. So to the praise of his glory, of his grace, they block. Thank you, narrator. Thank you, narrator. Thank you. Y'all block. Thank you, narrator. And then it says wherein he has made us accepted. That's the next step. And then the step under that is in the beloved. All right, you should be putting that down, class. So the first step is to the praise. The first step is to the praise. Somebody tried to say something else in there. Okay, thank you, narrator. Thank you. Thank you, narrator. To the praise is the first step. To the praise. That's the first step. So, what we said last time in verse 5, we left off with having to say, according to the good pleasure of his will, right? This is in his will. And if we start at in his will and then go up to what we already wrote in those steps in verse 5 steps. Verse 5 steps says it ends in according to the good pleasures of his will. Then if we go up, the next one was to himself by Christ unto the adoption of children, having predestined us. If you go from the bottom up to what we already wrote out in those steps, it will answer every question from the beginning to the end, from the end to the beginning. It will sum up what you need. I'm telling you, in a way that's going to sum up the questions in your head. Verse 5 sums up overall. If you put it down in the way that I had you to sum it up, which is from the verse 5, right? Thank you for that light. Salute to you, soldier. In verse 5, I had you to put, the first thing said was, having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ and to himself, and according to the good pleasures of his will. That will answer the questions. If you have any further questions, all you need to do is start in verse 5 from the bottom and go up. So it will sum up what this thing is about from the bottom all the way up, as I gave it to you to write it down. So the ending, if you start at the end, it still will answer your questions. It will say, in verse 5, if you start at the end, it'll say, and according to the good pleasures of his will, that's the first step, and to himself. Second, up from the bottom up, by Jesus Christ, unto the adoption of children, and then back up to the first one, having predestined us. Thank you, Mexican. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. So, if you start from the bottom, work your way up, that will still sum up what we wrote, what I had you to write out in verse 5. It will still allow you to sum it up if you start from the bottom up, or if you start from the top down. It's still going to answer every question that's inside your head. It's going to sum it up, okay? Because this is what we're doing. This is summing up every portion in the verse that's down here. All right? So, what we basically said is, this is mainly from verse 5 going into 6. We said that in verse 5, we basically told you that all these things is unto his will and for us, done to himself by Jesus Christ. So that answers any questions that you may have about 5. This is about Jesus Christ to himself. That's the reason why this is being done. Because we are doing this to himself. This ain't to nobody else. This ain't because of your mama. This ain't because of your daddy. This is because of Jesus Christ. Period. That we able to carry on in this power that we now have. To him. Everything is done to him. All right? Because he doing it, not us. He takes the credit. His credit is due. It's done. It's a wrap. You taking the credit for what he doing, over with. All right? So then that goes into verse 6, in which I just told you about. In verse 6, we starting with to the praise. That's the first step that you should write down. If you did not write it down, as I showed it to you here. All right? You probably can't see it but it's okay. It's okay. I actually like this lighting. It's give you kind of like a old time feel, black and white. Back in the day. Without color. But verse 6, it starts off with saying, to the praise. Everything that you in is to that man, to that spirit right there, that spirit. Jesus. That is what I told you already. That being in the praise of God is to that man, to Jesus Christ, that spirit, that Holy Spirit. That's the praising up. Everything that you do, everything that you be, everything that you say is in the praises up unto that spirit, Jesus Christ. All right? Which we spoke about in verse 5. Everything. So to the praise is only answering the question than where we last left off in verse 5. For this verse 6 that we in Ephesians chapter 1 verse 6, okay? For summarization, we are summarizing this thing right now. to the praise. Everything gotta be in line to the praise. I said that before. The praise is that nothing but being in line up according to God's will. God's will for your life. That's why you see a lot of people saying God's will for your life is Jesus. That's why they say that. Because if it ain't to the praise, meaning if it ain't lined up to that spirit, Jesus Christ, you ain't got nothing. Your power is of no nothing. Not a zilch. You are nothing. You are nothing. If it ain't praised up, lined up, pointing right at that man, and I keep saying man. If it ain't praised up, lined up at that spirit, you are nothing. Your power is nothing. Nothing. Do you hear me? Nothing. Not a thing. You ain't saying nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't being nothing. Not in that flesh. Nothing. So when I say that you are perfect, God said this. Congratulations, Joe. Congratulations. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. That is a blessing. Congratulations. Congratulations. That was the best thing you can do for your life. The best thing you can do for your life, soldier. Yes. So praise up. His will, which we said in 5, now we in 6. His will is the praises up. It's got to be praised up in order to be in his will. And the praises up say, in 5 it say, to himself, by Jesus Christ, through this adoption of his children, in which he having predestined us. And I started from the bottom to the top. It's still gonna answer. It's still gonna answer your question. If you do this in the way that I'm telling you to write these steps out, it's still gonna answer your questions. Hello? Hello? Oh, that's good. That's good. Now you know where your purpose is. Good. Because this is about the blood and this is about purpose. Joe? So you know where you need to go. That's a great thing now. Now you ain't just out here just walking around. You out here doing the will of the God now. Keep your head up, soldier. Keep your head up. But back to what I was saying, because somebody else came in to the chat asking me where I'm from. Witch number 1. Witch and warlocks. Yeah, witch and warlocks. That's why every time I keep saying where I'm from, y'all keep coming, taking visits. Witches and warlocks. Keep coming, taking visits. Where I'm at. Stay away from me before you get yourself hurt. Stay away from me before you get yourself hurt. Stop it now. If I was you, I'd stop asking where I'm from. Unless I mean good by it. Take that. Take that note of the day. That's good. That's good, Joe. That's good. Keep rolling. Now, verse 6, it says, to the praise. Because if it ain't in it, so how we know it's his will, right? In verse 5, it tells us how we know it's his will. If it points to Jesus Christ, not to you, right? It says, by Jesus Christ and to himself. And to himself, meaning it's pointing at him, at that spirit. That's how we'll know if it's done in his will, going into verse 6, and if it's to the praise. Yeah. So that answers that question. How do we know it's in his will? If it's to the praise, what is to the praise? What does to the praise mean? What does to the praise mean? Meaning, what's the next portion? The next step is of his glory. Write that down. And that's in verse 6. What you mean by to the praise? Meaning it's of his glory. If it ain't of his glory, it ain't of nothing. This is verse 6, summarizing verse 6 of what we already read. I already read this. If it ain't to the praise of him and of his glory, it's to your glory, to the praise of you. And that's me, flesh. And flesh ain't with God no more. God ain't with flesh no more. He with that spirit right there that died and rose on the third day. So it ain't nothing you could tell me. You can tell me that you are over him. Ain't nothing. Understand that? Got it. Then the next question you're going to ask for the next step is, what does this mean of his glory? Why is this got to be about his glory? Why? What is all of this? Of his grace. That's the next step you're going to write down. The next step is of his grace. Because of his grace. That's why. That's why it's got to be praised up to him. It's got to be of his glory. When we see it, it can't be of your glory. It's got to be of his glory. That's why. Why does it got to do this? Because of his grace. The grace of he giving us grace. He has given us grace. Grace be to him. Back at us. It is his grace. His grace is sufficient. You ever heard that? You ever heard that? That his grace is sufficient enough for us. Not our grace is sufficient enough for him and his people. No, his grace is sufficient enough for us to walk in it. Class. That's why we got to do this in his glory. That's why it's got to be praised up to him, to the praise. It's got to be praised up to him. That's why. Because of his grace. That's the next step that you're going to write down for verse 6. That's going to answer all your questions. If you write them in the steps that I'm giving to you with these words, in which I got a video on that will sum up the questions in your head if you attach it correctly to the words that they saying. Yeah. This will summarize it right on up. And you'll begin to know what you're reading, and you won't be lacking in none of it. If you're missing a step, you're going to have to go back and reread it again. That's what I say. Go back and reread it again. You're going to have to. So, of his grace is the next thing. And you're going to be asking, the next question is, of his grace. Of his grace. What that got to do with us? You still may be asking the same questions in your head, which is why the imagination can go far. It can go far. But for this imagination, you're going to keep in the belief system. You're going to keep in the belief system. This is a system, and you're going to keep in the belief system to this imagination. Because if you in disbelief, you're going to keep in that system. You're going to keep in that system. And that system is going to add up. And what is going to add up to? I'm going to say it again. Flesh. Flesh. And do you know who's going to devour it? Evil. Evil. If they smell that flesh on you, they taking you out. They don't care about you. Evil taking you out. Okay. Come on now. Come on. Welcome to this Bible study with your host, Shantae. Welcome. We going to get this done. We going to get this done. So, also, you like I said, you're going to be asking of his grace. What his grace got to do with us? What his grace got to do with us? Or you could be a little selfish type of person, say, what his grace got to do with me? What his grace got to do with me? Well, the next step in the Bible verse of verse 6 says, what his grace got to do with us is he has made us accepted. That's why his grace is accepted, because he has made us accepted of his grace. This grace got something to do with us because this grace has made us be accepted. That's why this grace got a lot to do with us, because he, Jesus Christ, this grace has made us accepted. Not you made of us accepted. Not something else that you're talking about made us accepted, that y'all be trying to be political about over this here stuff. No. It's still not about the politicals, okay? It's still not about the politicals, because it says in the Bible how it's not about the politicals when it comes to reading these verses. Not about that. It's not about that. You cannot read these verses for political reasonings. That can't be your reason. All right? It can't. So, because it's much deeper than that. It's deeper than flesh. This is some spiritual stuff that we getting into. That when you rise up in perfection with Jesus Christ. You rise up in perfection with Jesus Christ. That's why. This can't be political. Because it's going to be some more stuff as you are praised up, lined up in the blood and purpose of God's will that is to himself by Jesus Christ, that he predestined us to be in, to live in, to do things in, of his glory, that we are in this, of his glory. We walking in the glory of his glory. We are. This his stuff. Of his grace we have. This his stuff. Which is the reason why he made us accepted. Because this is stuff that we've been made accepted to. That's why it's his grace. That's why it's his grace. Because of our future. Our future, which is today, right now. He's the God of the now. Right now. Now, what is this he has made us accepted into? With all of this stuff. All this stuff that it is. This grace, this glory, this praise in verse 6. All verse 6. Although we have been accepted because of this man, because of this spirit, all in his grace, all in his glory, and those people who keep saying he don't share his glory with nobody, we with it already. We got his glory. We got his grace. All God is grace, glory unto us. We got it. Because of this Spirit, Jesus Christ. He made us accepted. And what he made us accepted into, you may ask. He made us accepted and write this next step. In the beloved. In the beloved. So you should have what I wrote down here. That last thing is in the beloved. That's the last step. Oh man, that's the last step. Before we get to verse 7, we ain't gonna do that today. We're gonna do it tomorrow. But those are the steps that you should be writing down. Answer any questions that you may have to the praise of his glory, of his grace, wherein he has made us accepted in the beloved. You should have those wrote down in those steps like that. Because if you write it any other kind of way, you're going to put your own stuff in there. But if you write it like this, step by step, because these are step by step life applying lessons that you need to apply to your life, okay? These are step by step guidance to apply to your life. So we're going to write it step by step. And we're going to know how to do the writing of the step by step. Okay? So, he made us accepted. Accepted into what? In the beloved. Okay? He made us accepted in what? In the beloved. To himself. By his grace, by his glory, he made us accepted in the beloved. That's the last step. In the beloved in verse 6. That's the whole summarizing of what I've already read. Okay? Let's sum it all up. In the beloved. That's what he made us acceptable into. In the beloved. So guess what, people? Welcome, beloved. Welcome. Welcome, beloved. That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in the beloved. So that's for Ephesians verse 6 summarization. And write them steps down. So when you see them from the top to the praise of his glory, of his grace, he has made us accepted in the beloved. And you can also say this from the bottom up. In the beloved, he made us accepted of his grace, of his glory, to the praise. That will answer your question. All of this is all to the praise. Being in the beloved at the bottom. This is all adding up to the praise. If you write it just like the way I got it, all this adds up to the praise. Everything. Sum it up. That was for summarization. Now we're going to get off into memorization. All right? We're getting off into class memorization. All right? And that will be of the verse of today. What I do with that? I don't know what I did with it, but I got another one. So today we're going over the verse that is today. The verse that further goes on into but God. This title, but God, which got something to do with everything I said today. But God. But God. But God is the title. But we are going into chapter and verse. Uh, chapter and verse. Chapter 2, verse 4. We are in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 4. Today's title is But God for Bible studying. We're doing more Bible studying over what we are currently on, which is chapter 2, verse 4. Okay? We did the summarization. Now this is for memorizing. This here portion is for memorizing. All right? We're about to memorize chapter 2, verse 4. And then we're going to sum up all that at the end when we get to it, okay? When we get to it, we're gonna do it. Because this how much you want to go back and forth with these verses and chapters in real life. This how much you want to go back for it, so you can know what you doing, what you reading. This how much you want to do when you going back for it in reading. So verse 2, chapter 2, verse 4 of Ephesians says, but God. That's our title. But God, who has, but God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love, which means it's not our love that we working in. This is for his great love. So we don't know where his love will take us. We knew we had control over how we loving people when we was in that flesh, but we don't know what God's great love will take us to, right? We don't know. So, for his great love, wherewith he loved us. And then it's a comma at that. Because that means it's going on into the next verse, right? Right there. Comma means going to the next verse, but we ain't going to do it like that. We just doing verse for verse. And I know it's going to lead us. Because I say these verses, each one, teach one. Each one, teach one. These Bible verses are powerful. They more powerful than you think. They answer way more questions than you think. If you writing them down, like the way I'm saying to write them down. So today for memorization, we in 2:4. Memorize this. But God. That's the main thing that's going to get you to sum this all up. But God. But there are many steps that's going to allow you to sum it up to the first part. But God. And but God will have you to summarize it to the last part. Loved us. But God loved us. And then the words in between. But God loved us. But God, the beginning and then loved us. Summing it up from the top to the bottom, summing it up from the bottom to the top. You see, but God loved us. But we ain't gonna get into summarizing it up right now. We'll get into that later, okay? That's how you get all your answers. That's how you get out here and you can evangelize and you can get out here and tell people things because you understand what this stuff is saying. This is how you can evangelize and get it how you get it. You don't know what to say? Get the summarizing. Okay? Get the summarizing. You don't know what to say? Get the summarizing. And this will tell you what to say. Memorize these verses and you'll know what to say when you go out here with these people. You'll know how to say it. Cause that summarizing don't get that mind sharp like a two-edged sword. It's gonna get that mind sharp like a two-edged sword. So it says, but God is rich in mercy for his great love, wherewith he loved us. But God loved us. So, title is But God. Without God, we do not adhere to nothing else. If it ain't God in it, we are not to adhere to anything else. Nothing else. We are here to honor, and to some degree, if we are little small children, physically, we are to obey, to receive the blessings, which takes us from being underneath our parents out into this whole world that we about to encounter as we get older. But God will deliver you in due time. It says that in 1st and 2nd Peter that God gonna deliver you in due time. So that's something you all should not be worried about. Not a thing. Don't worry about that. But God. But God. Stop worrying about these, what can I call them? These butts. Can I call them buttholes? Stop worrying about these buttholes. But. What about me? What about me? But. 1, 2, 3. Forget them. Forget them. Forget you. What about you? Forget about these butts. And get straight to but God. But God. This ain't no buts, ands, or maybes. Even though you can use the buts, ands, and maybes to attach these things to the steps in which you're supposed to take unto God to get you lined up right. But these ain't about these guys. But these guys, butts. We ain't worried about no butts. We ain't worried about butts. We worry about God. but God. But God. But question, questions. But questions. But God. Do that. But God all the way. But him. But him. But God all the way. Not halfway, but God all the way. But God. No, but the Bible says in Sabba Labba Dabba Labba Ding Dong, Labba Ding Dong, Labba Ding Dong. You better get that bell because it's ringing. But God. Don't just let that ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Don't just let it do that. Answer the door. But God. But God. but him. Y'all better stop playing on the buts, ifs, ands, and maybes. He said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Ain't no buts. But he also said that we are to be able to be free. We free. And he said, but we free. Free. It steps into this free. It steps. So you need to get into the Bible verse that says that we are free. So you can read the rest of the steps. There are steps to this. Ma'am, there are steps to this, sir. But he says we free. But he said in him, though. We free in him. To do unto the will of God. Hey, look, you better get into that verse and see what it says about we being free. Because we ain't free to ourselves to do what we want to do and be what we want to be. Transforming like transformers before everybody's very own eyes. Summing up to flesh. He didn't say that. That's not what he said, ma'am. That's not what he said, sir. This is why you memorizing these verses. So when you get people like that that's telling you what they talking about, you can let them know that, yeah, we free, but we free to this. Go read some more on. It steps to this thing. It steps to this. Rakim. Rakim. Steps to this. Step to this. I'm saying that part on the step to this. It's the steps to this. It steps to this. Rakim. Rakim. Okay, it steps to this. Stop playing with God. Stop it. And you ain't God. Because it steps to that too. God, and then what it say? It breaks it down. God to Jesus Christ, to his son. It steps in there. So when you say you God, so you saying you Jesus too? So that means that it's you the son in which he speak of that saved my life. And it's safe over there with you? I think not. I think not. That's why you get a lot of people get to talking about I'm Jesus. Because they want to get off of that whole God stuff. Because when you got them steps, when you get these people them steps, when you go out there evangelizing these people them steps, they're going to have a step for your steps. You understand? They covered in the steps. They're going to have steps covered. Excuse me. Every step going to be covered. Sorry, I don't know what's going on, but they going to have steps covered for the steps that you are already stepping in as you speak. They going to have steps for your steps. Yeah. So God, and it breaks it down in steps. God, which is in Jesus, which is his son, steps. So now everybody, they're going to say, no, this is God. No, I'm God. But the God who raised Jesus, no, I'm Jesus. What the heck? They got steps for the steps. Oh, really? No, y'all gonna be smart. I'm giving you steps for the steps. You understand what I'm saying? I'm giving you steps for the steps. And they gonna kind of give you steps for the steps. Woo! Steps for the steps. Oh, really? No, this is about God. I am God. But God who rose Jesus up from the grave. I am Jesus. They got steps for the steps, baby. These people are so wise. They got steps for the steps. That's why you got to get these steps that I'm bringing to you, so you can know. And you got to memorize these verses. Summarize this stuff up. I'm giving you this to activate you, because this is what God's going to do. This is what God is doing. I'm bringing it back to your memorization. Because you're going to need this. You're going to need this. You going to need this. Okay? You are going to need this. You're going to need this. You're going to need this for your demonstration of when you going out here to evangelize to these people who got steps for the steps. But no, this is Jesus. I am Jesus. But no, the Son of God. I am the Son of God. It says it's in the Bible verse that I am the Son. The Son is in me. He in me. And I in him. I'm the Son. People who really get political about this stuff, doing this stuff wrong, baby. They got steps for the steps. Which is why once you get these steps in, you got to go to God. You got to go to God, because you got to believe in these steps. And once you believe in these steps that's activating you, you got to go to God so that he can straighten you up. For when you got these people, these strange people out here that's got steps for the steps, because they use the steps for evil and not good. It's still people out here talking about how black people was the original Hebrew Israelites. Look, people, nobody really cares about this stuff, man. Get over your ancestral stuff. Let go of this earth. You was born before you even laid face on the foundation of this earth. Earth. Do I sound like I'm barking, dog? Earth. Before you was even laid foundation on this earth. I sound like I'm barking like a dog. But I ain't no dog. There's a lot of dogs out here. Earthly. Earth. Woofing all day. That's all they do. Woof all day. Earth. They earth all day. That's all they say. Earth. Earth this. Earth that. I'm worshiping the earth. Earth. Not God. All these barking dogs out here. Get yourself up off of me. Earth. Barking dogs. All day. That's all you heard is barking dogs. Earth. Nobody cares about your ancestors. So what? we was born before even the first of this earth. Earth. Barking dogs. Get away from here. Go away. Who with your barking self? Nah, well, nobody got time for that. But God. Chapter 2, verse 4. But God. All them butters that got questions about this. Butter. Look, if you want some butter, just go ask. Go to the little restaurants, get you some butter. That way, you can stop saying that. Butter 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 what? Butter on that, butter on that sandwich. Put that on there. Butter on that sandwich. I won't say butter on the other thing because that wouldn't be nice. But butter on that sandwich. Okay? Put some butter on that sandwich. Because this is but God. But God, who is rich. Who is rich? God got all these riches, and y'all sitting up here trying to figure out how rich you gonna be, how rich you can be without God. All these butterums, no, but God, who is rich. This God is rich. What you rich? Cause you took some souls and damaged a bunch of souls. You think you rich? Yeah, you rich. You rich in some famine. That's what it's gonna add up to. Famine. You rich in some famine. You rich in some other type of stuff. But you ain't rich. You ain't rich without God's riches. He the one that gave us riches. It's unto God. But God, who is rich in mercy. Now what he say he rich in? He rich in mercy. He is rich in mercy. He ain't just rich. He rich in mercy. He's rich in mercy, not just rich to be rich. I got millions. I got thousands. I got billions. So what? But that mercy rich. Got that mercy rich. Got that mercy rich. You can't be rich without it. Got that mercy rich. That's some different type of richness. Got that glory wealth. Got that glory wealth. Got that mercy riches. That's some different type of riches up in here. But you telling me that you the man that I'm supposed to glorify because you rich and you got more money, you got billions, you got millions, you got thousands, and you think you more than somebody else. And that's how you gonna talk it? That's how you gonna be like? Nobody cares about you in that way. Ain't no human caring about no earthly stuff. Doggy. Ain't nobody caring about no earthly stuff you talking about. You is a regular smeggler. That's what you is. You a regular smeggler. Just like us. Care about your riches that you made up in your flesh. Riches is in mercy. To who? God. And why? For his great love. And why is this done? Because wherewith he loved us. He loved us. Meaning past tense. Meaning he already loved us. Meaning that goes back into saying how he loved us before the foundation of this earth. Doggies. Doggies. Get your dog back. Get your dog back away from here. He's friendly. He's a friendly dog. Ma'am, sir, ain't no such thing as a friendly dog. Ain't no such thing as a friendly dog. Either he bark or he don't bark. That's it. Ain't no such thing as a friendly dog. Either he gonna bark or he not gonna bark. That's what you need to be telling me. Because I ain't looking at how friendly that dog is. Either he gonna bark or he not gonna bark? Let me know now. Because if he start barking, that means you don't know your dog. You say he don't bark, and if he start barking, that means you don't know your dog, nor do you have control of your dog, which means I don't got to go further because now I'm using my senses. That's what I need to know. Is the dog friendly? I don't care. But is the dog gonna bark? That's what I need to know. Is he is or is he ain't gonna bark? Let me know. Because if he barks and you said he's not gonna bark, then I'm gonna be looking at you. And then you're gonna be having me to piece stuff together like a dummy. And I'm not gonna be piecing nothing together in the way you want me to piece it together. Because once he start barking, you're gonna think that this friendly dog is okay to bark at me. And then bite me if need be. You're gonna think that's funny. And ma'am and sir, your dog barking and then eventually could bite somebody, it's not funny. That's not funny. But yet, you think it is. Not funny. It's not funny. Your dog being friendly ain't got nothing to do with me. Oh, he's friendly. I'm still not moving. Now tell me, is your dog gonna bark or is he not gonna bark? That tests the spirit by the spirit. Hey, that's gonna test the spirit by the spirit. Because you telling me your dog is friendly. So you telling me that you know your dog by the spirit. You know your dog. God handed you this friend. He handed you the friend. So you know your dog. Is he gonna bark or is he not gonna bark? What? The spirit of truth about to happen right now, right before my face. And I'm about to find out if this dog gonna bark or he's not gonna bark. Spirit of truth finna happen right now. Spirit of truth finna take place right now as we speak. Cause I'm just finna find out right now. It's finna be planted and seeded right before me. Cause you gotta know the right answers to ask these people. The right ones. And if that dog start barking after she say no, or he say no, he not gonna bark. If he start barking, as soon as I come up, we got a problem. That you said that's a friendly dog, ma'am. You said that's a friendly dog, sir. Ain't nothing friendly about that dog. Nothing. He done anteed up the right to start barking at somebody. Oh, there ain't nothing friendly about that dog. Get that dog. Get that dog. Keep walking. Oh, he ain't gonna do nothing. No, he not gonna do nothing. They not. Boy, I tell you, soon as they get to saying he not gonna do nothing, then the dog just, and they say, come on, Fido, come on. He not gonna do nothing. Come on, Fido. Fido ain't budged. Fido's still over here where I'm at. He ain't did nothing they said, but yet you telling me to come further towards you. And Fido ain't even going on your command. That tell me Fido got the commands, ma'am. This Fido world. This Fido world. This ain't your world. This ain't your world. You just a squirrel. This Fido world. You a squirrel. Trying to find your nuts. Like the squirrel I saw. Ain't find nothing, had to move on. Come on now. Stop playing with sight. And stop allowing people to play with your sight, children of God. Get that sight sharpened. Not physically. Go in. Get that sight sharpened through your senses, your sensors sight. That there, your senses and what it sees throughout your sight. Because like I said, I seen a bird, but my senses carried out a vision. It was more than a bird. That was a warlock spirit looking on at me, watching over me. And everywhere I be going, this same warlock spirit, it went into a crow. And the crows was standing right there. And there was a bunch of crows just right there where I was. And I'm looking at these crows, and that warlock spirit was right there. Right there. Watching me. Until I got fed up and started praying. And that is that warlock spirit that's over the STL. That's that spirit over the STL. When I went to Texas, I seen that spirit over Texas. When I lived in Texas, I seen that spirit over Texas too. It was a different spirit over Texas though. It was a different one. Which is why I couldn't go back to Texas. Once I left, I couldn't go back. Because that spirit there, I needed a million man march. Take that spirit out. Them spirits over dominions that they think they got dominions over, which is states and regions and stuff. You gotta have a whole intercession session with this situation. You gotta have a whole intercession. These S's got me tongue tied. You gotta have a whole intercession with these sessions in these different stations of areas. Okay? When you coming up against most and all of these dominions that think that they got dominion over the states. Thank you, narrator. Thank you, narrator. Get him out of here. Get him out. Get him out of here. Yeah, that's my narrator. Thank you, narrator. Thank you. Hey, Wood, you blocked. But God. You understand? But God. And that army is rising up. People think they killing people in Christ, in God. They think they killing them. But that army is rising up where it's supposed to be. In spirit. And all y'all doing is making it worse and worse for you in the times to come. Where when the Noah times, when Noah time and that flood came, that what's gonna happen. All this water gonna rise up because y'all refuse to submit to Jesus. And here it is, y'all trying to put all killings to all children of God. And when you do that, all you doing is making them rise up in the spirit, unbeknownst to you. And they taking up their rightful position for this purpose, which is of God, against you in a time to come. Just like in the Noah time when that flood happened. This water finna raise up on y'all butts. Y'all better stop thinking you doing something so good. And when y'all torturing the innocent, when y'all torturing the innocent, I mean the innocent who is innocent. Innocent be innocent. The ones who be innocent. When y'all torturing the innocent that be innocent, y'all think y'all raising something up against the innocent? No. 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 Why you think that in the times of Noah, he was able to take whoever he wanted to take, long as he took them and took them on the ship. He was. Not you. You're right. He is. He is. He is building another ark. He most definitely is building another ark. And that's spiritual speaking. Elvis, I'm praying that you real about that. I'm totally praying that you are so real about that. But he is building, and I'm going to speak real, truth for you. Forget the facts. I'm going to speak the real truth for you, in spirit and in truth. That sounds correctly. He is building another ark through God's people, through his army, in spirit and in truth. He building another ark. I already seen that in the spirit. That an ark was being built. And this was years back. It was being built all over again. But when that flood started rising up, because you think you putting the killing by the evil that y'all doing on the face of this earth to our children. Thank you, narrator. Salute to you. She on her job, baby. She on her job. There you go. There you is. Hey. I like that. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you, soldiers. Thank you for pressing that like button. Thank you. Thank you. So, that ark coming back mightily. And it's coming to get all the children of God up off this earth so that nobody can be left behind. Even all this earthly stuff, all these troubles that you think that you being left behind in because ain't nobody did nothing. I'm telling you, once you walk in this spirit of truth and you get lined up, meaning praise be up in the will of God, I'm telling you, you ain't got nothing to worry about, because when the time come, evil gonna get his or hers. That spirit of evil, they don't let it go, they gonna get it. They gonna get theirs. That flood gonna rise up. How it's gonna rise up? It's gonna rise up on them. How it's gonna rise up on them? Some people will go mentally crazy. Some people will be just be gone off the face of the earth. And some it will be waters that will flood up physically, water. But some it will be sicknesses, some it will be death, some it will be disease, some it will be that flood. Those floods right there will take over those who don't want to leave the innocent alone and let them be innocent. The Lord said, don't mess with my children that serve God. Leave them alone. Let my children serve me. You get to messing with them, you finna be in trouble, because you just lost a soul. This ain't about soul losing. This is about soul saving. We saving souls. We ain't losing souls. So if you lost a soul, you in trouble. You in trouble, ma'am. You in trouble, sir. Don't do nothing, children of God. Don't do nothing. Let them keep doing what they doing. But let me tell you, all of what they doing, they gonna get theirs for what they doing to you. That wasn't by the will of God. If God didn't tell them to do it, then guess what? They gonna get it. But if God told them to do it, then guess what? You gonna get it. You gonna get it. Hello? You finna get it. In due time. So, but God, y'all. Chapter 2, verse 4. But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love, wherewith he loved us. That's his great love. That's his great love. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't even know what love is. We'd be still out here sleeping around. Sleeping around for some of us. Sleeping with other people, other people's wives and husbands. We wouldn't even know. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't even know between right and wrong. If it wasn't for God, we'd be out here in the world doing the stupid things that the world do. And try to put us and feed us all these lies in this earth. This earth talks, and it will completely engulf you in its mouth. That black hole is the earth's mouth, and it will engulf you into it, to where you come out of that black hole a brand new person of this earth, evil, wicked, and with black eyes. Both black eyes, not one white, none white. And who wants to be like that? Nobody. The spirit of truth is God. Even as I'm speaking, God is listening. He's listening. So anyway, but God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love, wherewith he loved us. Now this gets off into also, I can also say, those who get into healing and all that different stuff, have like healing ministries and stuff, which we get off into the healing too, because we activating inside out. That water, receive on of that water, that spiritual water, let it in. That's what we do over here. But listen, if you do memorize this verse, you'll understand the true riches is with God. Not with money, not with clothes, not with cars, not with none of that. It's not with those things. True riches is not with those things. If you come over here and be in the destination in which you already was supposed to be in when you came on the first face of this earth, you wouldn't be dogging it up. I'm telling you, you wouldn't find something in the day. This day would not possess you. It would not. The thing that would be with you is God. But God, what about God? But God, what about God? That's what your butt should be. Not, but if it's about God, how the world did all that and some more stuff did. Why in the world? What? You got to go back. Put that back. Don't do that. What? Nah, we ain't finna keep asking the same questions over and over again that keep taking you back and forth to the butt position. He ain't say be in the but position. He said be in the praise unto God position. We not in the spirit of but. We not in the spirit of but. Get out of the but position and get into the God position. But God. God, but God. God, spirit of truth. Who is rich? What he rich in? He rich in the mercy. That mercy. That mercy. Don't go over that mercy. You got a big head, you over the mercy. You doing everything in your own self. You think you God. You not God. You not Jesus. You not none of that. Nothing. Now, in this here mercy, that's his great love. That's his love for us. That mercy is his love for us. That shows you how much he loved us. That mercy. The riches. Well, anyway, I'm going to go. They messing with my life. Messing with my life. Messing with my truth. They messing with me. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them the truth. They messing with my life. They messing with my truth. They messing with me. I'm going to tell them the truth. The truth is God. The truth is God. The truth is God. The spirit of his son on his earth will be done. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. But yes, that's chapter 2, verse 4. You learned about them riches. But I wanted to say this thing, and that is how that people can use this for healing and prayer. How you can use this for healing is that you know that through his riches, meaning through his spirit, is the only way that you'll be rightfully empowered. Okay? It's through the riches in God, meaning through his spirit, you'll be rightfully enriched in power. Okay? Knowing that, believing for that portion, that's where you should be at. That in that mercy, it's nothing that anybody else that can form against you to make you believe anything outside of that. That's going to make you believe, manipulate your mind, make you rotate in thinking thoughts of imagination on carrying out what they talking about. Can't nobody make you do that. If you know that your riches is in the mercy of God, right? So your belief in the mercy and the riches of how much this love is, how much him loving on us, that's love. That compared to the way that your mama and daddy loving, that compared to the way your sister and brother loving, that compared to the way your aunt and uncle loving, that compared to the way your cousin, niece and nephews loving, that compared to the way anybody loving on you, ain't nothing compared to God. Nothing. They don't got nothing compared to God's love. You will be much more powerful standing in the truth of God's love, and you will heal knowing and believing on of that. For real. Oh, for real. That love right there is greater and powerful love. Standing within the mercy of that, even when you want to get the big head, You better stay within that mercy. Don't get the big head, because the mercy is what covered this and this. The grace and all that. The grace and mercy. Head and neck. Because God don't want you to get the big head. God is the Godhead. You ain't. So anytime you feel like blowing up at somebody, you feel like getting mad at somebody, you feel like going cheat on somebody, you doing that of your own, you doing that of your own self. You feel like you the God and goddess, and you ain't. You don't run nothing. You don't control nothing. This is the spirit of truth. All right? Heal yourself and believe of the riches unto God, and humble your head, because we already got a Godhead. We don't need to think that we God the head. Stay blessed. Stay tuned. Bye for now. Bye for now. So I pray the spirit of truth be with you all today. And the spirit of truth will lead you, and that you will receive on that Holy Spirit into your heart today. I pray that in Jesus' name. Amen. Salute to you, soldiers. I am leaving. So, what I got to say about that is, thanks for joining. If you found this insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more Bible studies with your host, Shantae. So please leave your thoughts on these verses in the comments down below. Till then, peace out. Bye. For now. I did it. Oh, dang. But you eating up that piece, ain't you? Your butt.